Hello folks, I've just been doing a study on Jews in fashion, and it's a crazy scenario how Jews move towards the women folk. They manipulate markets, obviously, and they manipulate minds, and from there they shape the fashion. So it's interesting how they actually do that. So we can actually trace it back here to the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. So the International Ladies Garment Workers Union was founded in 1900. The 11 Jewish men who founded the union represented 7 local unions from East Coast cities with heavy Jewish immigrant populations. This all-male convention was made up exclusively of cloak makers and one skirt maker, highly skilled old-world tailors who had been trying to organise in a well-established industry for a couple of decades. White goods workers, including skilled corset makers, were not invited in the first meeting, nor were they or the largely young immigrant Jewish workers in the newly developing shirt-waist industry recruited for the union in the early years of its existence, but these women workers still tried to organise. The shirt-waist was a woman's garment with a mannish touch, a buttoned front. Charles Darner Gibson, an illustrious illustrator of the time, popularised this daring design by featuring his handsome Gibson girl wearing a shirtwaist. The introduction of the shirtwaist lent itself to a system of inside contracting where the work done by women was moved into factories and workshops, still under the control of a contractor but not within the household. As a result, women workers faced different kinds of control, regulation and ultimately sexual harassment. However, the new system also provided larger work sites where numbers of women could gather together to talk about their grievances, among other things. Thus, the possibility for unionising increased. By the way, this is on Jewish Women's Archive. So when it's talking about women and it comes across as being about women in general, it's not talking about Jewish women and only Jewish women. So you can check that out for yourself. Here's an interesting bit maybe. Feigenbaum reached into the Jewish past to endow the moment with a touch of tradition. He called upon all those present to raise their hand and to take the old Jewish oath. If I turn traitor to the cause, I now pledge, may this hand wither from the arm I now raise. So they're making secret pacts. I mean, they've just basically come from, the failed revolution in Russia, the 1905, 1906, I think it was 1905, when Russia was at war with Japan because Japan was trying to stop the spread of communism heading east, and the Tsar was, ultimately the Tsar found out what Bolshevism brings. So on March 25th, 1911, a fire broke out in the Triangle factory. It claimed 146 lives, mainly Jewish women. These victims became the martyred dead in a cause that, in time, revolutionized labor conditions and labor relations in America. It led to more effective fire and safety regulations in New York State, and it inspired women like Rose Schneiderman of the Women's Trade Union League to argue forcefully that legislation was less important than organisation. The large numbers of women garment workers in the ILGW shaped its labour philosophy. Despite the conspicuous absence of women among the union's top leadership, the ILGWU looked upon the union not only as a means to protect and promote the immediate interests of garment workers, but also as part of a greater international movement. Which brings us sort of here, the Fourth International. This is what was actually going on in Russia. This is the fourth one, which was in 1938. So, the Fourth International was established in France in 1938 as Trotsky and his supporters, having been expelled from the Soviet